This podcast is part of the Deluxe Edition Network. To find other great shows on the network, head over to deluxeeditionnetwork.com. That's deluxeeditionnetwork.com.
Hold on, stop.
Welcome back to the Shit Show 2.0.
Okay, boomer.
Damn millennials. Wow.
Did not know that. Even flirters who are obviously mentally ill. You want to be my wife?
Oh, this is gonna go downhill real quick.
What is going on, and welcome to Take on the World with
Johnny G.
and Mike D. Fucking Johnny G.
Word up.
What was the G for?
Gag ball.
We are here again today. What's up? How's everybody doing?
Doing good.
It is Super Bowl Sunday.
Super Bowl Sunday. Go Eagles.
So
EGLESREW. Eagles.
the fucking mayor of the town spelled Eagles wrong.
She went hands down, and she's like, thank God I don't preach on not making mistakes because I spelled Eagles wrong. There's a couple videos funny.
At least she owned it.
I get it. It's a hard word to spell.
Yeah, it's really hard. Yeah. So Super Bowl Sunday. So you'll probably see this 2 weeks from Super Bowl Sunday.
And you're not watching football anymore?
No, but I'll tell you what.
I can't be.
So
I know you're not a big Eagles fan.
My prohibition on football started when they left Villanueva stand on the field by himself.
Yes.
So it goes back that far.
Right.
However, right after that, like 2 years after that, the Eagles made the Super Bowl. So I forget who they were playing, but it was the same year my grandfather passed away. And my grandfather, back in the 40s or 50s, played on the Eagles practice squad. So in honor of him, I did watch that Super Bowl. I didn't watch the next one the Eagles were in. However, that will be my excuse for watching this one. Plus, you came over, so we will watch this one together.
You gonna watch it?
It's going to be on.
Okay.
I have my computer in front of me. I don't know how much. I'll pay attention.
You'll be in the same room.
I'll be in the same room. I'm not going to leave.
All right.
I'm not going to be a horrible host. I
mean,
there will be food. There will be snacks. There's hippies bologna and some.
I didn't understand.
Chicken thighs.
I knew you took a stand when they stopped when they started kneeling.
Well, it wasn't actually when they started kneeling. I didn't like that because I'm a veteran and it means something to me. What stopped me is because the Steelers were never really involved in it. I'm a huge Steelers fan, always have been.
Yeah, like you said. Well, I thought that was a whole part of the kneeling thing.
No, because for the first couple of years they weren't involved in it, and then
he was the only one that stood out on the field and like gave a salute.
Well, Villanueva said to the team, because they decided they were going to stay in the locker room, and he went to the team and he said, "I can't do that. I was an Army Ranger. I
bled for this country.
I have to stand out there for me."
Yeah.
And the rest of the team said, "Okay, we'll come stand out with you." And then they didn't. And then there were excuses for why it didn't happen. And they may be true. They may be not. I don't know. But for them to let him stand out there by himself, no, I can't do that. When my team got involved in all that bull, I said, okay, I'm done. I didn't even watch the rest of that game. I turned it off. So people could call me an asshole, whatever. I'm not a true fan. I still love my Pittsburgh Steelers from back in the day. I grew up in the 70s, Steel Curtain. I love all those guys. But I just can't bring myself to support the NFL in any way.
What would make you make the change?
Back? To support him again and start watching?
Yeah.
I don't know. I miss it.
Aside from the night.
I do miss football because
sure,
I love football.
Yeah.
But I'm obviously a hockey guy. And I've always been a hockey guy. It's not like I switched from football to hockey. I've always been a hockey guy. And oddly enough, as much as I hate the Eagles and always have, I am the weirdest hockey fan in the world because I like the Flyers and I love the Penguins. And I root for them both until they play each other. And then I am strictly a Penguins fan.
You like that Flyers and
those games like last night they played each other.
The Flyers and the Soviet Army.
Oh, I love that game. I love that
what year
game.
was that?
70
Skating with no fucking helmets on.
76.
Yeah, damn.
Yeah, they still had the Jason mask for the hockey, the goalie mask.
Yeah.
Oh, it was crazy.
I watched the thing on the hockey mask, the goalie mask, and they said it was just lack of
lack of giving a shit.
No. It's just like the lack of technology, I should say. So it was basically like that's the only thing they could get was like some kind of weird mask, whatever, and they would paint it and make it look as terrorizing as possible. And then as technology came along, they did away with the eye part. They did like a cage.
Yeah.
And it's like it's much harder to paint, they said now.
Well, actually,
customize.
I actually think in that game, and I'd have to go back and look at it again because I just watched it the other day because I watched another video on YouTube that went over that game, and I'm like, wow, that was a great game.
Dude, the one guy was like, I don't know, he's like his long hair is like flowing in the wind. And
yeah.
He's like punching the other guy. He's like elbowing in the face, and the Russian guy's like doing nothing.
Right. Well, they call that long hair the flow.
The flow.
So in hockey jargon, the mullet is your flow. So anyway, I was watching it, and I think that the Russian goalie did have a cage and not the traditional mask.
I don't remember.
I'm not 100% sure, but
yeah, if he did, it was probably like brand new.
So if anybody doesn't know anything about that game, this is pre Miracle on Ice. The Russian.
Wait, what the fuck is a Miracle on Ice?
What? Did you just say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unlike the 5 viewers that we have, I might not be the only one that doesn't understand that.
Okay. Miracle on Ice is when the U.S. hockey team beat the Russian team in the Olympics.
Okay.
Where like the Russian team was shoo-in to win everything again because they were perennial gold medal winners, and the U.S. hockey team was like really nothing. And Miracle on Ice was the U.S. hockey team beat them. And it wasn't even a championship match. It wasn't even a gold medal match. It was a silver medal match.
So this wasn't this match that we're talking about.
No,
now?
this match was prior to that.
Okay, what the hell was this? It was just like a one-on-one?
Okay, so what they did was they took the Russian team, who were Olympians and national champions and all this, and they came over here and they played 4 NHL teams. It was like exhibition matches.
Okay.
So the NHL paid them $200,000 to come over and play these 4 games. And at the time, the Flyers were the Stanley Cup champs 2 years in a row. And this is the time of the Broad Street Bullies when like nobody knew how to deal with the violence that Philadelphia was dishing out. Like nobody did. And so they were dominant in the league. In fact, so much so that the next year they changed the rules, which took away Philadelphia's dominance because their whole team was set up for violence. Anyway, so they played these other teams and they whooped up on them because the Russian hockey style at the time was so different from the American hockey style. The Russian hockey style was perpetual motion. Like they would skate like figure skaters and skate in circles and they would never stop moving. Where American hockey would be skate, stop, shoot, skate, stop, pass.
I did notice that on the the video you sent me. It looked like the Russians were out skating the Flyers. But dude, the Flyers, like they were just so aggressive. Every time they were up a goal, boom, shot. They probably had like 50-1.
Once they started hitting the Russians didn't know how to recover from that because they had never played against that style of hockey.
What is this violence? Wow!
So 11 minutes into the game, there was
A Russian died.
no, he almost. It looked like he was gonna. So there was a big hit on one of the Russian stars. The Russians were looking for a penalty, and like they all just stopped. They all went over to the bench, and they're standing there. And the referee went over to the bench and says, "There's no penalty here. That's a legal hit. Get back out and start playing." And the Russian coach pulled all the players off the ice. So the referee gave him a delay of game penalty. Was going to put one of them in the penalty box. And the Russian coach said, "Fuck this. We're out of here." Took them all off the ice. So it was 15 minutes later that came back on. Come to find out later, the NHL went into the Russian locker room and said, "Look, you know that $200,000 we were going to give you to play all these games?
Oh, yeah. What about that?
If you don't finish this game, you ain't getting squat." So 15 minutes later, they came back out on the ice and they managed to score 1 goal, but and the Flyers only scored 5.
So they got that money just to play? Just to win?
Just to come over and play.
Wow.
Win, lose, or draw, they just came over to and
I wonder what the statistics on that would be like today, like how popular that game was and how viewed it was.
well, you're talking
It had to be.
you're talking Cold War time, and you're talking like
Everybody's tuned in.
everybody's thinking Russian invasion. Like even if like for the kids today who, we might have one kid listening to us, but
He just shut the thing off.
he might have. I just insulted him. Not everybody needs a podcast. So if you watch Stranger Things, so the first season of Stranger Things is about the time when I was that age. And so they were, the second season or third season is when they had the whole Russian thing. But that's how it was. Everybody was so afraid of the Russians. We were afraid the Russians were going to show up in our backyard. And Stranger Things played off of that. So having this match and them defeating all the American hockey clubs was like, oh God. And then the Flyers coming in and just beating the piss out of them was like,
what?
Like they were like, holy crap, we can beat them. Like it was, I don't know. It's a cool thing. If you ever get a chance, and I'm going to send you to another podcast, listen to Fat Electrician and his video on the Red Army versus the Philadelphia Flyers because he's a great storyteller.
He absolutely is.
And after I watched his video on this, and he tells it much better than me, I went and watched this game again for like the 15th time. And then as soon as I found that the full game was on YouTube, I sent the link to John to watch. And it's like an hour and 40 minutes the game.
Yeah. Well, as soon as I saw that from Fat Electrician, I'm like, I don't care if Mike gets the shit early. I'm going to send it to him anyways.
So anyway, that has nothing to do with our topic today. Nothing at all.
It's like a little bit of bullshit session. You got to bullshit before we get into the main topic. And
but that's why I always like the Flyers, because in the Broad Street Bully days, they were just brutes. And I think that's what I was drawn to the Steelers for.
Did you get into hockey before you met Marty, or?
Oh yeah, way before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He kind of got me into hockey. I'm not like a super ultra fan.
But you're a Maple Leafs fan. You like Toronto.
I would either go with Toronto or the Canucks.
I don't know why, dude. Like that's.
I always say that because my I didn't know anything about hockey. I never watched a game. Probably couldn't even tell you what hockey was about. But one of my best friends, he moved here from Canada, and he was all about the Maple Leafs. So I was like, all right, that's my team.
The Toronto Maple Laughs.
So, but don't they got like one of the most wins of the Stanley Cup? There's Texas Rangers or some American team.
I'm talking like recent years.
Well, yeah.
Like they get in the playoffs and they get knocked out in the first round. And I can't talk much about my Penguins because the last couple of years they screwed themselves out of the playoffs. So,
but I do like going to the Reading Royals.
Yeah, we were just there last week.
That's always a good time.
Yeah, we had a great time. And I go to the funny thing is I go to the Hershey Bears, the Reading Royals, and the Phantoms.
Okay.
So the Reading Royals are
Phantoms Lehigh.
Yeah, Lehigh Valley. They're a Flyers affiliate. Now the Royals are a Flyers affiliate too, which is
What does
cool.
that mean?
So it's
Is
like
that where they recruit from?
it's like AAA for the Flyers.
Okay. Is it the highest you can go in hockey?
Lowest.
Oh, what's the highest?
NHL.
No. I meant minor leagues.
So you have ECHL, which is the lowest, and then you have AHL, which is, well, I don't think that's the lowest. I think there's something under that, but there's ECHL, AHL, NHL. So Reading Royals are now an affiliate for
So they're ACL.
ECHL.
So if the
Eastern
Flyers are recruiting, they're looking at Royals.
Well, there are
Hershey Bears.
some of the Royals. They're not the Hershey Bears. Hershey Bears for I think Washington Capitals, and they're AHL.
Okay.
So they're on the same level as the Phantoms, the Bears, and the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins. But I've seen all of them. I've never been to Wilkes-Barre Scranton to see a baby Pens game. And like there's players like, I know everybody shits on Tristan Jarry, Penguins goalie. He just got sent down to the minors, which is AHL. And but I like him. He has skill. He's just in a very, very bad groove right now. But he got sent down, played 9 games, and his save percentage jumped in the AHL, which it should because he's an experienced player. Anyway.
Interesting.
So yeah, I've been a hockey fan for many years. Most of the time, I could call the penalty before the ref says it, like before he even puts his hand up.
See, I don't even know that. I don't even know what icing means.
Sometimes with football, when I was watching regularly, I would call a penalty before the ref would throw the flag. And I'd say 90% of the time I was right.
I think 99% of the time I don't know what's going on.
But like I love football. I love hockey.
All I know is fighting's not allowed in hockey.
Yes, it is.
It's dealt with.
It's a 5-minute penalty.
Yeah, it's dealt with. But traditionally it's not
watching the Penguins Flyers last night. The commentator said, usually the Penguins Flyers games get pretty chippy, and in the middle of the second, it was starting to get a little chippy. And one of the commentators said, "Yeah, well, what we really need is a good fight. A good fight. That's what we need."
Good jersey and then the uppercuts.
Yep.
So,
but
anyways,
Pittsburgh can't afford to lose any more players right now. Their 3 best players are not on the ice. Malkin, Crosby, and Rust are all injured right now.
Wasn't that like an old 70s band? Malkin, Crosby, and Rust?
Yeah. Didn't they play Band on the Run? Anyway, so what we're here to talk about today,
yes,
is something that John's an expert in, like an absolute expert.
I was there. I did it. I built it. I did it all.
So Johnny kind of tripped me up, like with our last show with the glass house, and
I did. No, you tripped yourself up.
This is not.
You went way too far into it. Well, not too far. You went into it further than I ever knew it existed. So, which is a good thing.
Our last show is technically a lockup, but technically not. But this topic here, I had wanted to do with Johnny for quite some time, because it's not really a lockup, but it is. So it kind of fits what we did our last show. I wanted to talk about the Alcatraz escape. And if anybody's listened to this show before.
Well, not just the escape, right?
Well, if anybody listens to the show, everybody knows I can't just talk about what we're talking about. I need to give a little bit of history.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is...
dude, I'd be like, if you didn't give me the history of Alcatraz, then...
Well, Johnny knows the history of Alcatraz.
I was locked up there.
He was the San Francisco treat.
I was there.
He was a San Francisco treat.
Fuck you.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
Fuck all you other motherfuckers.
Who's next? So
we'll touch on that later.
No, we're gonna do that story right now. So Johnny went on vacation. He went to San Francisco.
It was 3 days.
Okay, on vacation in San Francisco.
3 days. And I specifically went there to go see Alcatraz, and I came back to San Francisco treat.
Okay, so he went to see Alcatraz and
everybody worked
and visit San Francisco.
San Francisco treat. Oh, you're so clever.
So that's what we call them for quite some time at work, the San Francisco treat.
I still get hit with it every now and then.
That was good times.
They were absolutely good times.
So let's talk a little bit about the history of Alcatraz Island.
Go for it, big dog.
So before it was even Alcatraz Island, it was discovered by a Spanish explorer, Juan Miguel de Ayala, in 1775. You could correct me on the pronunciation. I have no problem with that.
That was I don't see a G in there anywhere, but
Where?
whatever. Go ahead.
Where did I put a G at?
You didn't, but you said a G.
Juan.
Miguel.
Oh, I said Miguel. It's Juan Manuel de Ayala. Okay. Shut up. He was exploring the San Francisco Bay to find a strait that connected the San Francisco Bay and Drake Bay. He didn't find that because one doesn't exist. But what he did discover...
I just guess I'll build this prison instead.
He did discover various islands in the San Francisco Bay, and he named those islands and some other landmarks. And he established San Francisco Bay as a great port of a port of great importance, in quotes. He originally named it. Now, it fucks me up because there's two names that they said he named it, and he originally named it Isla de los Alcatrazes, which roughly translates to Island of Pelicans.
Okay.
Due to the large number of pelicans that were observed on the island.
I could see that.
But at another...
There's another prison in California called
Pelican Bay.
Yeah. So apparently it's a
Pelican place.
A Pelican place. Pelicans like to hang out of prison.
But then another place, it comes up with some other thing, and he said that Ayala named it this, and I'm like, it confused me, so I just put the original name. I didn't put the other one down. Okay, so Alcatraz development began in the 1850s. It was a presidential order that set aside the island for potential use as a United States military reservation. The U.S. military began to fortify the island in 1853. Doesn't care. It doesn't matter who did the construction because I don't know who the hell it is. And that construction continued to 1858 when the first version of Fort Alcatraz became completed. So it wasn't originally a prison. It was a fort. In 1867, the first brick jailhouse was constructed. And I think that was in the fort used as just a small jailhouse, like a brig or a, it wasn't the massive jailhouse you see now.
I remember seeing when it was a fort, it was like during the Civil War, and they're like practicing cannon fire. And it was, like you said, a small like stockade or whatever.
Yeah, stockade. Yeah, that's what I was trying to think of for the Army folk. By 1909, the Army had begun to construct a huge concrete main cell block that would become the island's most recognizable feature. So the Alcatraz that we know today began its construction in 1909. Alcatraz was converted into a federal civilian prison August 11th, 1934. This marked the beginning of the most famous era as the high security penitentiary known as the Rock. The prison operated for almost 29 years, closing its door in 1963.
You know what the best way to get into the Rock was?
From underneath.
Through the furnace. You got to time it right. So you go through the pistons and the fire.
Yeah.
What was that movie? The Rock.
The Rock, Sean Connery, and the worst actor in Hollywood. Who was the worst actor in Hollywood?
Oh God, I can't think.
Nicolas Cage.
Nick Cage. She's got to time it just right. He like rolls in and burns to death.
That's not right.
The movie just ends. It's like 20 minutes long.
I like most Nick Cage movies. I just don't think he's a good actor.
I like him. I think he's a good actor.
Okay. We don't have much taste, so.
Yeah.
August 11th, 1934, the first batch of 137 civilian prisoners arrived at Alcatraz.
Bless you.
Thank you. The prison was designed to hold the most dangerous criminals in the federal prison system. During its operation, Alcatraz held notorious inmates such as Al Capone, Machine Gun Kelly, Franklin Stroud, which was Robert Franklin Stroud, which was the Birdman of Alcatraz.
Was he that child killer dude?
I don't know what his original crime was. I just know him as the Birdman.
There was one guy that was I think he was in Alcatraz. Sick. Like he made like recipe books of like cooking children. He's like, I sliced his buttocks and roasted it in caramelized onions and like a real Hannibal
Olive
Lecter.
oil and garlic.
Yeah, just real gross.
Served him with a side of green beans.
And it was like really early in these like the early 1900s.
Wow.
Like 1911, somewhere around there.
Mm.
It was either the Birdman or Albert Finch.
Oh, I know that name.
I think that was his name. He had to have been locked up there. Anyways, I digress.
At any given time, the prisoner held 250 inmates, along with 150 staff members who lived on the island with their families. How do you think that would fly? Hey, Deb, I got a job at Alcatraz. You have to live on the island with me. Bring the kids.
I think they, for the most part, did it. Like they talked about that when you went there.
Well, back in the 1930s, your wife did what she was told.
Unlike today, let that be a lesson to you, women.
Where we're more enlightened and we treat our women right.
But yeah, there was like an admin building, and then I'm looking at it like an aerial view. To the right was like where all the COs were. And there's still modern prisons today that still do that.
Yes, sir.
And it, like, how awesome would that be? Like, awesome, but if I didn't have to drive all the way to work every day, spend gas, I could just walk over to work.
How you gonna call off though?
You're out like mowing your grass, like, I'm deathly ill.
I'm a little jealous that you got to visit there and I've never been there because I've been to jails all over the country.
You should really go there.
That's one of the places it's on a bucket list.
Before it's gone.
It's on a bucket list.
Yeah. I'd even go back there with you.
I don't want you being in a cell with me. You were already in a cell with me at Eastern State.
Well, listen, there's things that you, I don't know if you'd have to pay more money to see it, but like you can't see parts of the kit, like you can't see the entire jail. They give you a very scripted view.
That's how Eastern State is now.
Very, very, yeah.
Although we went places that
You weren't going to talk about that.
We went places with permission that some people aren't allowed to go to. Do you mind if we go down here? He didn't say no.
Nothing.
During Alcatraz's 29 years in operation as a federal penitentiary, 1934 to 1963, there was 14 separate escape attempts involving 36 inmates. Here is a chronological list of notable escape attempts. So we were talking just beforehand. The June 11th, 1962 attempt is most notable. And if you hear people tell the story, it's the only one.
Honestly, I didn't know there was more than this one.
I thought there were some attempts, but nobody got out. I thought
Right.
that this is the only one that anybody got over the wall.
Well, they labeled the prison the unescapable prison.
Right, but you have other people who have gotten out of this jail, this unescapable jail.
Allegedly.
No. Have gotten out. April 27th, 1936, Joseph Bauer attempted to escape but was shot and killed. December 16th, 1937, Theodore Cole and Ralph Rowe escaped during foggy weather but were presumably drowned. They never found the bodies, so they don't know what happened to them. They just said drowned so they could say, well, no one's ever escaped, which is the same thing they did with the 1962 attempt. May 23rd, 1938. So 3 years in a row. Rufus Franklin, and that's a 1930 name, Rufus, Thomas Limerick, and James Lucas attempted to escape.
Wait, didn't he write Star Wars?
Yes, yeah. This is before he wrote the Star Wars. No, this is James. This is George's brother. Franklin and Limerick were shot. Lucas surrendered.
I'd rather work with my brother.
1939, so 4 years in a row. Arthur Doc Barker, William Martin, another Rufus, McCain, Henry Young, Dale Stamphill attempted escape. Baker was killed, Stamphill was wounded, and the others were captured. May 2nd through 4th.
I mean, how would you feel about being up in the watchtower with a M1 Garand and be like,
Bing!
Oh, yeah.
Well, that was your job. It's your job.
Child's play.
Plus, I love the M1 Grand. May 2nd through 4th, 1946. The Battle of Alcatraz involved Bernard Coy, Joseph Kretzler, Sam Shockley, Clarence Carnes, Marvin Herbert.
Oh, I'm a shame tale for this. I should have known about that.
And Mirren Thompson. This violent attempt resulted in multiple deaths.
You can still see scars from that. So
was it a riot or
it was a riot?
Okay, explain that because I don't know about this.
No, I'm a little rusty on this, but it was a riot, and what they had did was the CO tower was like up here, and they would drop keys through like I think ropes down. Anyways, they ended up they made a bar spreader with like a screw and a thing, and they opened up their bars. They made replicas of the keys. I think they went up there. They took a couple of COs hostage. They took their keys. And then by that time, the army, who's the part-time army. I don't want to say that. That sounds so bad.
National Guard.
Thank you. They came in and they literally like they dropped grenades down the hatches, like into the, and you walk around on the ground and you see like blast from the floor's all scarred up from the grenade.
Just so nobody gets
blast.
all bent out of shape, I don't think the National Guard's the part-time army.
No, I don't think so either.
I knew what he was talking about and I blurted it out. I think the National Guard, I have nothing but respect for him.
Absolutely.
Carry on. Continue.
Anyways,
I heard someone typing already.
Anyways, those part-time losers sent grenades down.
I just quelled the storm. Keyboard warriors everywhere put their helmets on and
is that what that thing is from
yes.
I didn't understand what he was doing.
Keyboard warrior.
Okay, I was like helmet, keyboard.
Stupid. I had often thought a long time ago about making a keyboard look like a long rifle with a scope on top
you
of
should.
it. And every time someone makes a comment like that, I'm just gonna reach down and pull it out and go like this. There's a lot of little things that you would never know till you go there.
like I'm surprised you didn't go into this, but it was like at one point it was taken over by Native Americans.
No, I didn't know that either.
So when you boat there from San Francisco to the island, you're greeted with a big sign. Here, I'll show you. That's what I was looking up.
Keep talking.
And it says Indians welcome Indian land, and it has like the penitentiary.
Huh?
This is
Wow.
Alcatraz Island.
Wow.
That's how I remember it. When you boat up, you get off to get onto the island.
United Indian Property.
Yeah. That I'm not, but I mean, dude, you should go see it. It's falling apart. It's not going to be there forever.
Well, no, what was it, 1909?
I think you said even earlier than that. 08?
No, when they started building that main house. Construction began 1909.
Yeah. So anyways, go ahead. I'll interject with anything I remember.
All right. July 31st, 1945, John Gills attempted an ingenious escape by disguising himself in military uniform. And then we get to the July 11th, 1962, Frank Morris, John.
This is the one that we remember.
Yes. This is the famous escape from Alcatraz.
Yeah. I couldn't tell you all the other, except for the one, because I totally forgot with the insurrection, but they never went anywhere. I think they were all killed or either went back.
Like that's only 7, and it says there were 14 separate ones, so there were 7 more.
Wow.
That probably were much shorter and smaller and not of note. But Frank Morris, John Anglin, and Clarence Anglin carried out one of the most famous escape attempts. Their fate remains unknown. It's not an escape attempt. They escaped.
I believe that 100%.
Well, even if they died, they escaped. They got outside the jail and they were never found.
Well,
that's an escape.
That being said, there was what's the next closest islands, like Love Island or something. They found some of their shit washed up there.
They found but we'll get there. Johnny, jump ahead.
Damn, yes,
mother sucker. You get one in.
All right, you're welcome.
Of the 36 inmates involved in these attempts, 23 were caught, 6 were shot and killed during their attempts, 2 drowned, 5 went missing, and were presumed to be drowned. So that's their way of saying they got a clean record.
And let's not.
And you're talking about a time when the appearance of no escapes meant more than the truth.
Right. And then let's put this aside. Talk about the waters of the Pacific coast and that bay.
Oh, yeah.
Swift, fast moving waters.
Yes.
It's a constant like 55 degrees, I think.
Okay.
Shark infested.
Okay.
So you're fucked. If you go in there with nothing.
If it weren't for one thing with the...
Did I just double jump ahead?
Yes, you did.
Yes!
Although I don't have it in my notes. It's something I read and something I saw in a video that I watched.
Yeah, this is all from video recollection.
It's interesting because that was the main thing they always said. The water's too cold, it's too choppy, too fast. They couldn't do it. There's no one could survive it.
Superman could.
But there's a caveat.
Yes. Please do tell, Big D.
So I always ask what makes this. Well, once I saw how many there were.
Morris Anglin was an alien.
Dude, you jumped ahead again. I always wonder what made this escape so much more famous than the other ones. And apparently other people have asked that question because there was an answer. When I was going through the different websites for information, the June 11th, 1962 escape from Alcatraz was notably more famous than the others for several reasons. It was potentially successful. Unlike other attempts where the escapees were caught or killed, the fate of Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers remain unknown to this day. The extraordinary planning and ingenuity involved in it, it was meticulous preparation over 6 months, including the creation of the dummy heads, the fake ventilation ducts, and crafting the rafts, the life
I gotta
preservers.
say,
What?
You get to see the dummy head
Yes.
and then like the broken open.
I have pictures that I'll be putting up with this. I'd love this. That's what I'm saying. I'd love to see that.
That's why I hated all you when you called me the San Francisco treat when I got back.
It challenged Alcatraz's reputation, which is why I think they said they drowned. The prison was considered escape-proof and breakout.
They were eaten by the green monster in the sea. What?
Yes,
have you seen on old maps?
It's everybody knows there's a green monster out there. It's an ongoing mystery. So while the case remains open, the FBI has closed their case and passed it on to the U.S. Marshal Service.
Your turn.
Here you go. We failed. This continues the uncertainty, but has kept public interest alive for decades. I know it has with me. The cultural impact, the escape has been dramatized in films, continues to captivate the public imagination, respawning numerous theories about the men's fate. Plus, there was some stuff that came up just a few years ago that brought it all to the surface again. And when it came to the surface, of course, I had to watch Escape from Alcatraz again. Clint Eastwood, great movie. Love that movie. It is, I don't want to say it's very close to what happened because nobody knows exactly what happened. They speculate how they planned and went through their thing. But it basically shows where the evidence led them to believe what happened, which I thought was pretty cool. This combination of ingenuity, mystery, and the potential success has made the 1962 escape the most famous in Alcatraz's history, capturing public fascination for over 60 years. 60 years ago, dude.
60 years.
I'm going to take a quick break there because I have a new sponsor for the show, and I'm going to throw that in here real quick. What is going on? I want to talk to you about our latest sponsor, Smackin' Seeds. Look, I've been eating sunflower seeds for years. The one thing that has bothered me about seeds is the burn I get in my mouth from all the sodium. Now, the seeds I get from the gas station have like 1,920 milligrams of sodium in them. And I came across these seeds and I figured, hey, I'm going to try them out. And I got them. I popped them in. Flavor's great. Then I looked on the back and sodium per serving on this bag of their backyard barbecue, Smackin' Seeds, is 160 milligrams, as opposed to the ones I get at the gas station, 1,920 milligrams per serving. So when I use the ones from the gas station, I pop in a handful and I'm breaking them apart with my teeth and tongue. I'm spitting the shells out and I get a burn in my cheek and I get a burn in my tongue. Not with these. Same thing with the sour cream and onion. Same thing with churro. I also have jalapeno cheddar. I got a variety pack and I love them all. Nothing like them. So you need to check them out. So you go to smackinsunflowerseeds.com/TOTW pod. That'll automatically put our 10% discount code right in there. It'll ask you, you want the discount code? There it is right there. Done. You got nothing else to do. You need to check out Smackin' Sunflower Seeds. They don't cost any more than the ones you buy at the store, but a lot less sodium, great flavor, big seeds. You can't beat them. And we're back. And where we at here?
Okay. We're back. No.
Okay. So let's get a little background on our stars of this show. Frank Lee Morris. He was born September 1st, 1926 in Washington, D.C. He led a life marked by crime.
Shocker.
And was incarcerated at an early age. He was orphaned at 11 years old. He spent his childhood in foster homes and began his her criminal career shortly after.
4?
Shortly after, no.
It says 4.
That's a reference number. I have references at the bottom.
Let's just say he was
Oh,
doing crime at 4.
no. He was orphaned at 11. He started his criminal career shortly after 11 years old.
Okay.
So he was very intelligent with an IQ
I have heard this.
His IQ is reportedly in the top 2% of the general population. His criminal record included first offense at age 13, crimes ranging from narcotics possession to armed robbery, convictions for grand larceny, car theft, and bank robbery. Prior to Alcatraz, Morris spent time in Florida, or served time in Florida and Georgia. He escaped from Louisiana State Penitentiary while serving a 10-year sentence for bank robbery. After being recaptured during a burglary, he was sent to Alcatraz on January 20th, 1960. His inmate number was AZ-144.
AZ-144.
John William
I'm going
Anglin.
to write that down. That sounds like badass. AZ-144.
John Anglin, William Anglin, born 1930 in Donaldsonville,
Yep.
Georgia. He was one of the infamous. I don't know. Along with his brother Clarence.
You're struggling there, man. You want to take that?
No, I just repurposed some.
Fucked it up.
I've repurposed information here.
I got you.
Okay, his background, criminal background.
Well, we only had like a day to do this.
Yeah.
So,
he began his criminal career at a young age, starting with petty crimes, progressed to more serious crimes, including bank robbery.
Putting out shitty podcasts.
What did he say?
Not everyone needs a podcast.
No, the other guy.
Oh shit! I forget. There was 2 other ones. I can't.
Your cheap ass.
Oh, your low budget.
Your low budget ass podcast.
It's like, what podcast is it? Low budget. Just need some mics and a camera.
Convicted of robbing a bank at Columbia, Alabama, with his brother Clarence. Sent to Alcatraz due to his history as an escape artist from other prisons. Alcatraz incarceration and escape. Oh, that was supposed to be a header.
Wait. Side note to
He arrived in Alcatraz in 1962. Continue.
I don't know if you did this on your lockup, but I think it was the West Virginia State Prison.
Which one?
It was like I could see the documentary. It was like butted right up against a coal mountain.
Is it the all brother and sister prison?
No, but it was like I just got that out. Why, yes, Mike. Yes, it was. And I was locked up there years ago. I'm a protege of one of their I'm one of their offspring.
Clarence Anglin, born May 11th, 1931. Same place as a brother in Georgia.
How many of these fucking brothers are there?
2.
Like, one was born in every goddamn state in the fucking south of Mississippi.
Early life, he grew up.
Yes, he was a criminal.
Well, not until 14 years old. He grew up.
Not till 5.
He grew up in a family of seasonal farm workers. Family moved to Ruskin, Florida in the early 40s for more stable work. He became a skilled swimmer at a young age.
Okay.
First arrest was at age 14 for breaking into a service station. Progressed to bank robberies with his brother in the 50s. Arrested in 1958 for robbing Bank of Columbia in Alabama. Sentenced to 35 years in prison, February 10th, 1958. Served time in multiple facilities, including Florida State Prison and Leavenworth Federal Penitentiary. transferred to Alcatraz January 16th, 1961. His inmate number was AZ1485. So now, I don't know why, but there is another guy who was involved in this.
Yeah.
And I don't have his information on there.
They just worked with him. He had access. One of them had access to.
Hang on. I have it here.
Johnny Jumperhead.
No. Go ahead.
I can't help myself.
Go ahead. No, tell your story,
I'm
because
not sure what my story means.
I just want to get his information, because he took credit when.
Yeah, there was 3 of them that escaped.
Right, 3 of them escaped, but the guy who stayed, who couldn't get out of his cell, he took credit for everything.
Was he the 4th? No, he was the 4th one.
The 4th guy, yeah.
So there was. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So
I think he got cold feet. He couldn't dig through his cell. He didn't do it on time, actually.
No, he didn't finish digging through his gimmick.
And they're like, yo, we're leaving. He's like, hey, but what about me? I'm like, fuck you.
Let me see. I have his name here.
Looks like you're not piecing together nothing, Mike.
I apologize, because
it's all good. I'll just berate you till you get it right.
we'll get down there to his name. But on June 12th, 1960.
John Anglin.
You ready?
No, I was actually spewing name. That's not it.
No, we'll get there. On June 12th, 1962, a routine early morning bed check turned out to be anything but. 3 convicts were not in their cells: John Anglin, his brother Clarence, and Frank Morris. Their beds were cleverly built. In their beds were cleverly built dummy heads made of plaster, flesh tone paint, and real human hair apparently fooled the night guards. And I'll have a picture of that here.
Yeah, they're kind of creepy.
Yeah, they are.
Like they use real hair that they got from the barber shop. Son of a... You can't let me loose.
Here's what I'm doing right now. I'm going through what they found, and then I'm going to go through the plan.
That means nothing to me.
I'm going through what they found the morning.
So I just keep my mouth shut.
Well, you can talk. Just don't.
Not about this?
Just don't make any comments.
All right. My bad, dog.
No,
My bad, big dog.
Throw in what you want, bro. Because it's all going to come out in the wash. The prison went into lockdown, and a tense search began. The FBI was notified immediately and were asked for help. The FBI interviewed the relatives of the men and compiled all their identification records. They also asked boat operators in the bay to be on the lookout for debris. Within 2 days, a packet of letters sealed in rubber and related to the men were recovered. So floating around, they found this packet of letters that were connected to the guys. Later, some paddle-like pieces of wood and bits of rubber inner tube were found in the water. A homemade life vest was also discovered and washed up on Cronkite Beach. Extensive searches did not turn up any other items in the area. I'm going to jump ahead for a second.
Yum, 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 yum. Mikey, jump ahead.
Because it's later speculated that these things were speculated. No proof of this. That
Wait. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be a dick.
Go ahead, be a dick.
It's speculated that these things were speculated.
No, I'm reiterating, it's speculative. That these things were tossed in the water to throw people off of their track.
This guy was very smart too.
I know. The dude was a fucking genius.
He said, how do I contend with this 50-degree water? I don't know. We'll jump in and we'll survive.
As a misdirect. And it's also speculated that they had a boat waiting for him.
That's crazy. Yeah, honestly, I 100% believe that at least these 2 brothers survived and got away.
So now we're going to piece together the plan. You can jump in all you want.
Okay. Don't jump in at all. Just don't say anything.
No, I want you to jump in now.
Okay.
As days went by, the FBI, Coast Guard,
And then
and the Bureau of Prison authorities and others began to find more evidence and piece together the ingenious escape plan. Alan West, that was the other inmate.
oh,
They were aided by inmate Alan West, who didn't make it out of his
was
cell
he
in
aided
time.
by a Mae West?
Yeah, that's Mae West's brother, Alan.
It was just too small. For anybody who gets that, please comment.
So, here's what they learned. Now, I'm going to tell you, Alan West, he was known to be a bragger and a liar.
Okay.
But he said this whole thing was my plan,
Oh, of course.
and this is what we did.
He just couldn't chisel all the way through his wall.
So, some of the details they got could be completely false, because Frank Morris was, and they said everything pointed to Frank Morris being the mastermind. So, the group had begun laying plans the previous December when one of them came across some old saw blades using crude tools, including homemade drill they made from a motor of a broken vacuum cleaner. Now, in the movie, they used the motor of a broken fan, I think. They used a fan motor. The plotters of each...
Maybe Alan West was too busy with that vacuum cleaner.
Each one of them loosened the
doing something else.
Air vents and realized they couldn't get through the air vent. So they would drill holes around the vent until they could get that section of the wall out.
Right.
So they removed that, and then they made the paper mache cover to go over the vent. And it looked like, and they would actually do the crisscross pattern, the same diamond pattern that was on the vent itself. They put it back in, and like Frank Morris had a, what the hell's it called? An accordion. He had a big accordion case that he put in front of his, so it would partially cover anything that looked funny. And the other guys would put something else in front of theirs. One of them hung a towel over it, or near it, or partially covering it. So behind that wall was a common unguarded utility corridor. They made their way down. Now, the first jailer worked that's how it was.
I think that corridor was walkable, wasn't it, by SEO?
Behind where the first place I worked, which is no longer standing, it's tore down. So I'm not giving away any secrets. There was a corridor like that, a maintenance corridor. It was never guarded, and the only time anybody was in there was when maintenance was in there fixing a water issue or something. And you could walk down the whole thing, and you could look up and down like 3 flights because there was 3 levels. So this is not an uncommon thing in older jails. So at one point there was a larger area, so they used that to make like their secret workshop. So they would sneak in there at night. They would make their raft and their all their shit that they needed in that little secret workshop that they had. Which, how did Morris Alan West get in there?
I don't know. I think he was just like a tag along. They're like, yo, this is our plan. If you're with us, chisel your return air event and come along with us.
So these 3 other cats did all the work while this guy was still trying to dig through his shit?
I think he probably had like something to contribute, like maybe like the hair for the dummies.
Wait, I think he did get the hair, and I think he had access to the raincoats.
Right.
I think he was the guy who could get things.
Yeah. You slipped up and you got left behind.
Well, it says they used more than 50 raincoats to make the shit that they made.
Now I question that. Why? First off, okay, it's an outside work company. Maybe they were doing something for the mainland. But 50 raincoats, you would think that would go missing. Like
one at a time.
How long?
They left.
How long was this?
Hang on, they bounced out in.
I think it was like 3 years. I think you said.
No, this it was like 6 months.
Oh, really?
So this happened in. When did they leave? June 11th, and they started their planning in December, the year before.
Oh, so that's not very long at all. It's less than a year.
6 months.
6 months. Yeah, you would just think that's a lot of fucking raincoats. I can't believe the raincoats for inmates. No, I wouldn't give a fuck if you got rained on.
No, they had raincoats.
You think so?
My guys had raincoats.
All right. I'll tell you what. I was out on that big old yard. Well, that's creepy, man. Just to stand there in the footsteps of
Yeah.
men that came before me, and to think of what the fuck happened there. And you can hear that. You can hear the pelicans. Wow, 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 wow.
Almost felt like you're gonna get shanked.
Yeah, you get in that mindset. And here's where I'm going to interrupt a lot. And I remember they had a headset, and it was Steve Buscemi.
There too?
Yes, I don't know. He must have like some deal with the. I swear to Christ, it was Steve Buscemi.
Wow.
And
because Eastern State has Steve Buscemi as their audio tour guide. And
there was guy who is. We got to go to the hole, which was like facing the front of like the mainland San Francisco. And the guy comes on and he's telling a story of he would get so bored. It was like a double door. So you walk in, it was like a sliding door, right? And then you would go in and there was like a old gate, and that was your cell. And there was a hole in the corner. I think you poop and shit in and whatever. And the guy goes, I take my button off my shirt, break it off. And it was pitch black. There was never any lights. And he's like, I just flick it and I hear it. And he's like, I just search for it.
Damn.
And pick it up and do the same thing. Because that's what kept me sane for like fucking 6 months or however long he was locked up in the hole for.
Jesus.
And you can see like scratch marks on the fucking wall. It's crazy. And they're like, we could from that cell, you can hear mainland San Francisco. All the noise carries over. You could smell the food. You could hear everybody like cheering and like and like baseball games, whatever. You can hear people having fun, and you're just sitting here rotting away in a cell. And
dude, that's horrible.
I know, right? It's so fucked up, dude.
I smell Chinese food.
Yeah, and they're like, you can hear everybody going about their lives as happy, normal people, and I'm in here.
Somebody's baking sourdough.
Yeah. And it ain't my next door neighbor.
Oh, crap. So they were taking turns keeping watch for the guards in the evening before last council. They made like a periscope so they could look around and make sure. Like, really?
Way too much. Like, what was going on with... I don't know. I'd like to see what happened after all this shit.
I don't know. They must have locked that jail down tighter than an asshole. They used a variety of stolen and donated materials to build and hide what they needed to escape.
Have you donated towards our cause? It's called Leaving Alcatraz. Well, no, sir, I haven't.
Well,
where do I sign up?
Let me tell you what you could give today. More than 50 raincoats that were stole and gathered were turned into makeshift preservers and a 6-by-14-foot rubber raft. Now
it's fucking huge.
He had a book. Frank Morris had a book, like a
how to make a rubber raft out of raincoats from Alcatraz.
No, not it was like a popular science or something like that.
Oh shit!
Or a survival book on how to make a rubber raft from raincoats.
Well, this is why I feel like they had the proper equipment. They had access to it. They had the time to do it.
Yeah. The seams were carefully stitched together and vulcanized by the hot steam pipes.
Dude,
here it is.
Vulcanized? That's like a not high end, but that's like a very like detailed process in like rubber making.
Yeah.
It's like where you on the steam pipes. You like, God, that's why we're getting away from steam. Okay, people don't want to stop escaping.
But you know that the steam pipes in the cells, inmates used to cook.
Yeah, I heard one, and he got sick as a dog.
Oh yeah, he cooked a pigeon on it, and
Ugh.
he ate it and got sick.
But yeah, man, those
they
steam pipes get hot as shit.
They used to heat their water on it to make soups. The idea came from a magazine that was found in a prisoner's cells.
I never understood that. When the first time I researched a cell, I was like, new officer, and I look in the toilet, and there's like 2 milk cartons, and I'm like, what the? Like, why would you keep your milk carton in your toilet? And our supervisor at the time was like, because it's cold in there.
Yeah.
Flush the toilet and it's cold water. I'm like,
they built wooden paddles and converted a musical instrument into a tool to inflate the raft.
Oh, I've never heard any of that. Holy Christ.
Well, you could use the accordion or a bagpipe.
Oh, yeah. Imagine it. Like, yeah, stop playing that goddamn bagpipe at night. Like, we really got to get John Anglin off that bagpipe. It's really causing a stir. I know it's allowed on commissary, but Jesus Christ.
At the same time, they were looking for a way out of the building. The ceiling was a good 30 foot high. But by using a network of pipes, they climbed up and eventually pried open a ventilator shaft at the top. What they found was all the ventilator shafts up top were screwed shut except for one. And
isn't that so fucking weird?
Yeah. And they popped that off.
That one chance.
Yep. So
and they found it.
On the evening of June 11th, they were ready to go. West, though, did not have his ventilator grill completely removed and was left behind. The 3 others got into the corridor, gathered their gear, climbed up, went out the ventilator, got out into the roof of the prison, shimmied down a bakery smokestack at the rear of the cell house, climbed over the fence, snuck to the northeast shore of the island, and launched their craft. And bye-bye they went. What happened next is a mystery. Nobody knows. Nobody knows what happened. Did they make it across the bay? Did they get to Angel Island? Not Heart Island or Love Island or whatever you said.
Yeah,
Angel Island.
I think I said Love Island. Which is at the base of the one end of the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah. And then cross Raccoon Strait into Marin County as planned, or did the wind and waves get the better of them? Did it get knocked into the water? Plenty of people have gone to great lengths to prove the men could have survived, but the questions remain: did they? Our investigation at the time concluded otherwise for the following reasons. Crossing the bay. Yes, the youngsters had made the more than mile-long swim from Alcatraz to Angel Island. But with strong currents and frigid bay water, the odds were currently against these men. However, here's the caveat. The Anglin brothers at one time lived in Michigan, and they were known for swimming in Lake Michigan while there was still ice on the surface. They were very good swimmers, and they were used to swimming in cold water.
Okay.
According to the Three If by Land, according to the plan, according to our prison informant, was to steal close a car once they got to land, but never unearthed any thieves like this despite the high profile of the case. This is not true. There was a car stolen that evening. It was not reported to the FBI. And that car was later found.
I've heard this.
That car was later found, I forget where, some distance away. I didn't write it down. But it was found some distance away. And so there was a car stolen, and very well could have been involved in this. Also, someone reported I think it was a police officer on land reported seeing what he thought was a boat on the bay with its lights out. And at one point it flashed its lights on and then it went right back out. And then when he looked back out, he couldn't see the boat at all. So he doesn't know if he was seeing something, if it was a reflection, if it was the boat or nothing. But he did make that report and it was dismissed. Family ties. If escapees had help, we couldn't substantiate it. The families appeared unlikely to even have financial means to provide any real support. Missing in action. For 17 years, we worked on the case. No credible evidence emerged. This is the FBI investigation. No credible evidence emerged to suggest the men were still alive, either in the U.S. or overseas. The FBI closed this case December 31st, 1979, turned over responsibility to U.S. Marshal Service, which continued to investigate in the unlikely event the trio was alive. So I think the FBI didn't want to look stupid.
It's funny you bring this up. Not funny you bring it up, but there was I forget what the show was that basically proved everything they did. They survived, made it to Angel Island, got on a getaway car, and made it to South America. And not only that, they sent photographic evidence, like the two brothers, and they aged them, whatever, and like they look exactly the fucking
right. But the detractors from that say that you can't tell from that photograph if they're in South America or not.
Well, no, I mean, how could you tell what country they're in? But
so,
I mean, but still, like they're aged. They're talking about
you age someone. You still could just be someone who looks familiar. It could be cousins that looks like them. Like, so they could dispute it. I'm not saying it wasn't true, but I'm saying there's ways to dispute it. So,
but I mean, for me, that sells it.
I went through some of these theories that have emerged regarding the survival of Frank Morris and Anglin brothers. Successful escape and relocation. Some theories suggest that the trio made it successfully ashore and started new lives. A letter allegedly from John Anglin in 2018 claimed that all three survived and escaped, but he was the only one alive at the age of 83. So basically in that letter, he said, I'm sick. I'll turn myself in. Frank Morris died in 2009 or 2005 or something like that. And my brother died a couple years ago. I'll turn myself in. If you put me back in jail and give me treatment for my cancer.
You do have a lot of people claiming things that, you know what I mean? Like that aren't them.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, yeah, it has not been proved.
There are claims that they escaped and fled to Mexico or South America to avoid recapture. Outside assistance theories propose that the inmates had outside help. Clarence Carnes, another inmate from Alcatraz, claims that Ellsworth Bumpy Johnson, a Harlem crime boss, arranged for a boat to pick up the escapees and take them to San Francisco. And that's supposedly the boat that was seen with its lights off. The one I mentioned.
Yeah.
It was mentioned in another video I saw. Some speculate that Clarence Anglin's girlfriend agreed to meet them at shore and drive them to Mexico. Evidence of survival. A raft believed to be used by the escapee was reportedly found on Angel Island. 3 men matching the escapees' descriptions were seen driving a car stolen in Riverbank, California, shortly after escape. So Riverbank is where a blue sedan was stolen from, was reported, but never to the FBI. Whitey Bulger, a former Alcatraz inmate, who's another famous gangster.
Sure.
Believe they survived based on his own experiences in evading capture for 16 years. Alternative escape methods. Some theories propose different escape routes. One theory suggests the escapees tied themselves to the island ferry using industrial electrical coordinates to ride the mainland.
No.
I think maybe not. Ongoing communication.
First off, you get chopped up or probably freeze to death, I would imagine.
A man claiming to be John Anglin allegedly called a lawyer in San Francisco the day after the escape. Family members of the Anglin brothers have claimed to have received Christmas cards and other communication from them over the years, which I also heard.
That's what I was going. That's the one video I saw. Was like, I mean, before that, if you escape from Alcatraz, why would you contact a lawyer? Be like, yeah, contact the closest whoever and tell them I just escaped from Alcatraz and I ain't talking.
Contact the closest hooker and say, I might be getting thrown back in jail. Can I get a little humpy bumpy?
Yeah, I just escaped Alcatraz. I killed another hooker. I may or may not be high on cocaine.
PCP, angel dust.
But I played the fifth.
So these are the conspiracies, and all these conspiracies do is fuel public imagination and debate on whether they survived or not. So, final question.
I like your approach where they were like, we don't want to say we're wrong. They drowned.
I would go as far to say as the other two who supposedly drowned made it as well.
Yeah, I mean, and then you've seen people, or we've heard people have made that cross from Alcatraz to mainland San Francisco. But what year? How warm was it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like these guys are in the middle of the night, had no clue where they are
in June. So it's the warmest time of the year.
I don't know. Yeah. It's
plus you're talking about two guys who used to swim in icy Lake Michigan,
allegedly, and one guy who was legit
a bona fide genius.
A bona fide genius.
So if they had rubbed Vaseline on him before they got in the water,
maybe slippery, you would have got there half the time.
What would have protected them from the cold?
Sharks.
Fuck sharks. Sharks.
Oh, wait. Hold on. What would have protected them from the cold? Or what?
It would help protect them from the cold.
Yeah.
The Vaseline. Go back and listen to our Vaseline episode.
Like, yeah, well, we caught the brothers. It was very easy. There's just a slick trail of Vaseline behind them. Son of a bitch.
We just followed the oil slick.
Yeah. Looked like the goddamn Exxon Valdez.
So that is the most famous Alcatraz escape. I hope we did it justice. The San Francisco treat and I are going to tune out.
Fuck you.
We took on Escape from Alcatraz. Now you go take on the world. Don't get locked up doing it.